The following is a special presentation of News 3 and our partner Spirit of Texas Bank. Welcome to the George Bush Presidential Library on the campus of Texas A&M University for the 12th annual Jefferson Awards presentation, helping us celebrate the accomplishments of the special individuals we honor tonight. Dean and Executive Professor at the George Bush School of Government and Public Service at Texas A&M University, Ryan Crocker.
Good evening and welcome to the George Bush Presidential Library and Conference Center at Texas A&M University. As Dean of the Bush School of Government and Public Service, I'm honored to have KBTX's Jefferson Awards live broadcast from the Annenberg Presidential Conference Center. Tonight, 4 outstanding Texans are being honored for helping to make life better for their friends and neighbors. The honorees are volunteers dedicated to serving others here in the Brazos Valley. Each donates time and effort without expecting anything in return. Adjacent to the library is the Bush School, a place for students prepared to be leaders of tomorrow, leaders who serve. Public service is the reason we're gathered here for this event. To those receiving a Jefferson Award, congratulations and thank you for your selfless service.
Now, live from the Hagler Auditorium in the Annenberg Presidential Conference Center on the grounds of the George Bush Presidential Library Museum, please welcome your hosts for the evening, News 3's Crystal Galney and John Gilbert.
Good evening and welcome to the Annenberg Presidential Conference Center on the campus of Texas A&M University for the 12th annual Jefferson Award ceremony.
Now tonight we're honoring 5 Brazos Valley residents who unselfishly give of their time to help others.
Before we begin though, let's welcome the singing cadets from Texas A&M University. Please stand for our national anthem.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
You may be seated. During the program, you will meet special people who have accomplished some very special things. This evening, we're honoring Judy LeUnes, Joyce, Nies, Peter Witt, Ann Hazen, and Steele.
You're about to see why each of these honorees deserves the prestigious symbol that embodies dedication and commitment.
Each of our winners tonight will receive a beautiful Gold Jefferson Award medallion from the Institute for Public Service for their accomplishments.
They'll also become eligible for national recognition later this year in Washington, D.C. Now let's meet our 2015 Jefferson Award recipients.
Judy LeUnes has spent her life teaching, helping, and caring about others. She is a retired school teacher who, even while she was working, found the time, energy, and the means to help those less fortunate. These days, little has changed. As Carla Castillo learned, she is busier than ever, and that makes her happier than she's ever been.
When you first meet Judy LeUnes, you're immediately greeted by her one-of-a-kind $1 million smile and eyes. What you can't see is the size of her heart, but those who know her say it's full of love for all people and pets.
I'm a natural animal lover.
Judy's love for our furry friends has led her to one of her pet projects, the Aggieland Humane Society. Her dedication to animals has even produced one of the area's most unique events.
Wienerfest, it's a fun event because of the animal-human bond. I like to think of fun ways to get some things done.
Judy's most recent fundraiser was Bra Art. Funds benefited Health for All, and the goal was clearly defined.
To help raise money for women who don't have health insurance, who need health care.
More than $10,000 was raised for the nonprofit Free Clinic. And though Judy uses fun to draw people in, no matter how many organizations she works with, she never forgets the importance of each agency's work or why she's involved.
I really feel a mission.
To achieve her many missions, these words describe her perfectly.
Tremendous time manager. She's a tremendous asset. She literally goes from meeting to meeting. I honestly don't know when she sleeps.
Due to her never-ending energy, one thing's for sure.
I'm going to get things done.
Selflessly, Judy gives of her time and talents to help the less fortunate.
I wasn't one of those people who just got on boards to build up my resume. I just feel that this is our responsibility.
And at the end of the day,
everybody feels better when they help somebody.
Judy, congratulations. I'm privileged to present to you your 2015 Jefferson Award medallion. Congratulations.
Thank you, KBTX, for this opportunity. Thanks to the Spirit of Texas Bank. I was nominated by the College Station New Lions Club, and I'm forever grateful that they took a chance on me as their first nominee. Thanks to my husband Arnold for sharing me with the community, and our children, Katie and Lyndon, who are already making differences as they see needs. Hugs to my mentors, past and present. This beautiful medal around my neck is really for my students, my former students. They are the ones who led me to make the community better. They taught me what needed to change in our hometown. They taught me that there were neighborhoods without parks, that there were students who were being sexually assaulted as well as adults in our community. I've had students come out to me as members of the LGBTQ community, and I was honored that they knew I would not judge them. I learned very few of my students understood the proper treatment of animals. I brought animals in to mentor my kids. As board member of Aggieland Humane Society, I was asked to do an interview on KBTX about an animal hoarding case. The shelter staff brought me a one-eyed Chihuahua to hold. I knew no one would listen to my message as I talked, holding this unwanted dog whose head was glued to my chest as I gave the interview. No one wanted him because he wasn't perfect. He adopted me, and now Winky is donating his love, time, and efforts to our household and the community as he currently represents the Humane Society at the events. We can never discount any help that is offered to us. Sometimes it may be a one-eyed Chihuahua who just reached out to help make your life better. My Jefferson Award belongs to my former students, such as Brandy Norris, who is here tonight. She is Assistant Chief of Police in College Station and the first woman to achieve that role. To quote Wilma Mankiller, the most powerful, fulfilled people are the ones who get up every day and stand for something larger than themselves. They are the people who care about others, who will extend a helping hand to someone in need, or who will speak up about an injustice when they see it. Thank you.
Jefferson Award recipients Joyce, Nies, and Peter Witt are two retired professors who share the same beliefs about volunteering. Their entire married life they've spent helping others by donating more than just their time to help many charities. This kind and gentle couple believes it's their responsibility to help those less fortunate, and it's a responsibility they take very serious. When you first meet Joyce Nies and Peter Witt, you immediately feel surrounded by peace. This soft-spoken husband and wife team serves as proof that actions speak louder than words and that the lessons they learned as children remain in their hearts and minds.
Both of us were raised in homes that made it very, very clear that if you were fortunate to have time, treasure, and talent, that you were responsible for using that for the good of the community.
Joyce and Peter have made it their mission to work different charities. In fact, if you name a nonprofit, they've probably worked to make it better. But there's one whose name speaks of home and family.
With Habitat, it's so wonderful to work with the families because it really is a partnership with the family that's going to be moving into that home.
We've driven in the Habitat communities, not when a house is being built, and we've just looked around and said, this is pretty wondrous.
It just gives us a good feeling to be able to do that and see these families be able to move into safe and good housing.
Homes made it possible by the work of many hands and funds provided by Joyce and Peter.
There are things that each of us can do every day in our lives to make a difference in the lives of others.
And for this couple, that's all they really need to make them happy.
We appreciate receiving the recognition. That really isn't the main reason for doing this. We feel it's so important to give back to the community. We're members of this community, and we feel we have a responsibility to give back to the community.
Joyce and I are humbled by being included as 2015 Jefferson Awardees. During our 22 years in Bryan College Station, we have been given the opportunity to work with so many excellent nonprofits who every day are working to supply safety net services to people in our community. Organizations like Habitat, which offers people a hand up as opposed to a handout. The prenatal clinic, which has enabled so many women to get the necessary prenatal and birth care needed to give their babies a healthy start in life. Or Voices for Children, which provides advocates for foster children as they seek a forever home. Each one of these nonprofits undertakes critical services that help define our understanding and commitment to make Bryan College Station a community that cares about everyone, no matter what their life circumstances. We have been privileged to work with the staffs of these and other organizations in our community and accept this honor as a challenge to continue to do so in the future.
We appreciate those who saw fit to nominate us and support our nominations, and we thank KBTX for sponsoring this event. We are honored to be in the company of the individuals who have received this award over the past 11 years and those who are also being honored tonight. Bryan College Station is blessed with many fine individuals and couples who choose to extend their community impact beyond their homes and work lives to make a difference in the lives of others. For these individuals and all of you who are listening tonight or who are present at this ceremony, the challenge is to find ways to continue to be difference makers in our community. Thank you for the honor of being Jefferson Awardees.
Thank you, Joyce and Peter. Honorees were chosen by a board of selectors. Members, please rise and stand until all are introduced, and please hold your applause until all are recognized.
Selection committee members include Kevin Byrne with Spirit of Texas Bank, along with Alicia McLeod from KBTX.
The remainder of the selection committee consists of past Jefferson Award recipients. They are Jerry Gritter, Russeline Maurice, Jason James, Reba Ragsdale, and Carol Wagner. When Ann Hazen moved to the Brazos Valley more than 40 years ago from up north, Texas really didn't seem like another country. New to the area and surrounded by strangers, Ann decided the best way to meet people was to get involved and become active in this new community. As Steve Fullhart reports, once Hazen started her volunteer work, there was no stopping her.
Since moving to the Brazos Valley in 1972 with her husband and children, Ann Hazen has made it her mission to help not only those around her, but also the entire community. Being new in town and not knowing anyone, Ann found ways to make friends. She became active in her church, volunteered with the League of Women Voters, and served on the College Station City Council.
I became very educated about government in Texas.
Now in her golden years, she lives at Arbor Oaks in Bryan, and she's been able to use what she learned on council to help her retirement community that's across a very busy street from Blinn College.
People would zoom in to the parking lot because they finally got across the median.
No sooner would they be in the parking lot when another person would be waiting to make the same turn.
It was very scary. We all dreaded the idea of someone from here getting, hit.
Because she was able to call upon her knowledge of city government, fellow residents say,
She knew how to push the right button. She said, well, I'll write a letter and see what I can do.
Now we're going to have another entrance here at Arbor Oaks. We're going to have it with a light, which is what we needed.
And it only took one woman's steady persistence.
She's determined. She's a prodder.
Ann prefers to think of herself as
a real people person.
Longtime friend Winnie Gardner has her own opinion.
She's a compassionate person that has really lived her beliefs.
And she has no plans on stepping on the brakes either.
It's very important for me, as long as I've got my mental capacities to keep doing things. It makes me happy. It's a reward to me.
And congratulations, I'm happy to present you with your 2015 Jefferson Award.
Good evening. I'm honored to be recognized for this award and wish to congratulate my fellow nominees. Thank you to KBTX, Spirit of Texas Bank, friends who nominated me and wrote letters of support, and my family have always supported me and encouraged me along the way. In 1972, my husband accepted a position at Texas A&M and relocated us from our native New England to Central Texas. Texas as I knew it, the land of cattle, horses, cowboys, and barbecue. We soon discovered that there were also 17,000 Aggies in town, and it appeared that each one drove a truck. Unable to find a nursing position, and with time on my hands, I began my volunteer career as an advocate for sidewalks on school routes. My association with the newly formed Brazos County League of Women Voters, classes I took at Texas A&M, and the Social Concerns Ministry at Peace Lutheran Church in College Station made me aware of the many areas of need in this community. My efforts would not have been effective without the support of teams of committed volunteers, generous financial supporters, and prayers of many throughout my service. My service as a volunteer and paid staff at Hospice Brazos Valley has brought me the most joy, along with the many friends I've met along the way. I now have a wonderful family of friends at Arbor Oaks at Crestview who allow me to continue my love of volunteerism. Thank you all. I have been richly blessed.
I have to say, John, you did a very good job being careful not messing up her hair with that medal. Steele is an attorney who practices law, but even with his busy schedule, he finds time to help others. During his lifetime, Stephen has been active with the Boys and Girls Club of the Brazos Valley, Habitat for Humanity, and the Newman 10 Awards. These days, one of his volunteer jobs keeps him on the road and on the path to serving others.
This out.
The best way to describe Stephen Steele is a caring Christian man with many causes.
I've always been focused on helping out and being dedicated to helping other people. It's an opportunity to give back to our fellow man.
On this day, his volunteer work brings this man of faith to the Brazos church pantry.
Jesus said those that will be first should be last. To be served, you need to serve.
As he walks to the door, he knows his delivery is serving seniors in our community.
I'm here delivering elder aid from Miss Nick.
Oh, okay, come on in.
We'll see you next month. You take care of yourself.
Further down the road,
Come on in.
How are you doing? Good to see you.
Same to you.
Sure got your stuff here.
Oh, you don't know how much I appreciate that.
The joy of seeing people's reaction when you give to them is probably the most impactful thing to me.
God bless you.
You have a great day. God bless you.
Okay.
They're always thrilled to see us.
though he's solo today, Stephen usually has a little help.
My wife's not with me today, but I'm delivering your food.
Okay.
You want me to take it back there? I'll be happy to do that for you.
If happiness is measured by his willingness to help people, Stephen says he's going to be an example for others to follow.
Role, I'd like people to remember that I was also in there serving and working alongside them. The way I'd like to be remembered is always contributing, always being there.
All right.
Well,
see you, May.
Mr. Steele.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
It's my honor to present you this 2015 Jefferson Award medallion.
To those who much is given, much is expected. Whenever I think about my blessings, I remember a memorial service following the 1999 bonfire tragedy. My minister, Tom Huser, said, "Our greatest blessings from God are family, friends, and faith." My family, beginning with my wonderful parents, Doc and Catherine Steele, who taught me about selfless service, to Ann, my loving and giving wife of 34 years, and my children, Rick and his wife Tara, and my two terrific grandsons, Braden and Bentley, and my Aggie graduate daughter, Catherine. Finally, my church family at Covenant Presbyterian Church. They've all been a blessing to me. Friends, from the lifelong Aggies, from the class of '74, to my JC pals, to my fellow Rotarians, to the numerous volunteers, board members, and staff from the various service organizations that I've been privileged to serve with. Then my friendship with my colleagues in the legal profession, and my very special friendship with the lawyers that I've had the privilege to work with, the late John M. Lawrence III, the late A.W. Head Davis, and now Head Davis's son, Fred Davis of Davis & Davis. Friends sweeten our lives and our service to others more than we fully appreciate and more than we realize. Blessings. My greatest blessing is my faith, founded on love and hope. Jesus told us the second greatest commandment is that which we commonly know as the Golden Rule. In the Message Bible, it states it this way: ask yourself what you want people to do for you, then grab the initiative and do it for them. In JC's, we said, service to humanity is the best work of life. And in Rotary, we say, service above self. Faith is what commands us to do what we do for the least of these, not for any accolades or awards, but because it's just the right thing to do. Through service to those in our community, we're applying our faith, hope, and love every day of our lives. I want to thank my good friend, Ron Schmidt, a past Jefferson Award winner, for nominating me. This is a great honor, and I am extremely humbled by the recognition. It is further motivation for all of us to continue to put our service as our greatest calling in life.
First of all, thanks, Stephen, very much. I just want to say, Crystal and I, we really enjoy doing this. It's an honor to be able to listen to the stories of people who give so much back to their community. It's kind of an incentive for us too, and we're involved in a lot of stuff just like this, but at the same time, it's like an incentive to, get off our tails and do something good and do something great for the community. And to hear these stories means so much to us. And it's tough getting a Jefferson Award. I mean, we go through a lot of different people, and these people really deserve these awards. And the person who eventually goes to Washington, it's like, yes, representing this community and everything they do.
Yeah, and every year they say it's just a remarkable time getting to hear people from all over the country, what they do. And I always find in 12 years of this, every speech is so inspiring. So hopefully the people watching at home are inspired to get up, as John said, and start volunteering in their community at home. Well, every year, the American Institute for Public Service nationally recognizes deserving individuals to showcase the importance of public service. The list of past winners reads like a who's who of America.
On that prestigious list, you'll find people from all walks of life, including Cesar Chavez, Walter Cronkite, Henry Kissinger, Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, Sandra Day O'Connor, and Oprah Winfrey, just to name a few.
Now the moment we have all been waiting for. The person selected to represent the Brazos Valley at the National Jefferson Awards ceremony in Washington, D.C., and become eligible to receive a National Jefferson Award, drum roll, Judy LeUnes.
Judy, come on.
Congratulations, Judy. When you travel to Washington, to our nation's capital, you can go knowing that we are so proud to have you represent the Brazos Valley, and to all those who volunteer. Congratulations.
Thank you, Crystal. This is truly humbling, and I will not get through it without crying. But anyway, thank you. I know each one of the other award winners, and there's tons of people in here. I know I've been here since I was 19. So, Big Maggie's, it's a great day. Great day. Thank you.
So deserving. Thank you, Judy.
Before we conclude, though, they aren't present. We'd like to thank President and Mrs. George Bush for allowing us to access this beautiful presidential library.
Congratulations to all our Jefferson Award recipients. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you for joining us for the 12th Annual Jefferson Awards, a special presentation of KBTX Television in partnership with Spirit of Texas Bank. If you would like a DVD copy of tonight's special presentation, send your request to news@kbtx.com.